got one of the most easy explanations for you as far as AI. All right. So a lot of us are afraid of AI, and it's because mainly it's part of one of those things where, for people in general, even starting when you're young, if you don't understand something, you're either not going to like it, you're going to be afraid of it, or it's just simply not accepted. And kind of all those three things are happening with AI. And I'm not sure if I can necessarily say if any of those feelings are correct or valid or not valid, or nonetheless, like however that is supposed to be seen or should be seen is not up for me to be determined. But I just want to help somebody kind of understand what the different AIs are. And yeah, did you know that there's different AIs? Okay, so there's different things that are available now that are called, one, narrow AI. So there's three of them I'm going to name for now. Okay. So then we're going to name one last one. And yeah, that one's going to be a special one. All right. So you might want to stick around for that. So the first one, narrow AI. It's the AI that we've been using with our phones. Recently, there's something different that has been starting to be used with phones, like the S24 Ultra, the Pixel 8 Pro. But now we have something a little bit different. But before, Siri was called a narrow AI, right? So we have one, narrow AI. We have two, generative AI. Three, limited memory AI. And then four, AGI. And so that last one right there is the one that most people probably are going to be really wanting to know. Okay. And if you had never heard about that before, stick around and I'll talk more about that and why that's important. Okay. Okay. So, narrow AI is what we have when we talk to Siri. Like right now, it's being activated on my phone and I'm not meaning to talk to it. But this thing has specific things that it can do, like really good tools, right? You can ask it to calculate something, you can ask it to call somebody for you, and it will do that job really, really well. Okay, so it's a bunch of different tasks. Like for Netflix, it uses narrow AI to find a movie for you or something like that, which you might be interested in. Okay, so it's very basic and narrow focused. It does one job very, very well. Okay, it actually does the job better than generative AI, and that's the next one we're going to be talking about. So that's number two. Okay, the major breakthrough that we've had recently is in like major because a lot of people have been using stuff like ChatGPT, Gemini, what was called Bard at one time. And there's a lot of different generative AIs that are being created by other companies. And these are just the popular ones. And the ones that I use the most are Gemini, and number one would be ChatGPT 4o. That's the newest one. All right. So, how are those different? So, generative AI actually can create something that's brand new. Okay. So, it can, if you ask it to create a topic for you, write an essay for you, create some sort of art, possibly by using its DALL-E interface. So with ChatGPT, it can cooperate with DALL-E, and that will make an image for you, right? And it'll be a new one that nobody has ever seen. If you give it a good enough description, it could actually create that. It could create logos for you in your business. It can give you ideas on what you could possibly do to help your business grow, and different ideas on what you should probably focus on if you're looking to be a better writer, right? Or a better singer, which you should practice on. So it'll generate new concepts, okay? And you might ask, like I did, okay? I would ask, wait a minute, why can't you use generative AI if it's so good at knowing new things to calculate a math problem for you? I guess it's because it's not the best at recalling a memory, right? So it's not made for that. It's made to create something new. All right. So it might get the calculations incorrect. And this is the thing too, is it creates new things and it could be creating things that are somewhat incorrect, which is why you need to go and make sure when you get information from generative AI like ChatGPT or Gemini or any of the others, you should probably cross-check and make sure you look into the information a little bit more before you say, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, we're all set. This is how I'm going to run my business, right? Because AI told me this is the best way. It might not be. All right. So you've got to check into that. Okay. So now the other one, limited memory AI. It actually has the ability to not create new things. It has the ability to look back at past things that had happened and recall those things and therefore make a decision that will impact its current situation, right? So it'll look back at, like, let's say how a domino fell. And if it wants to make the domino fall in a different way this time, it can look back to see where it pushed it and then also apply that knowledge, right, to the new way it's going to actually interact with the dominoes if it wants it to do it a different way. All right, so can another question you might have is, can limited memory AI operate like a generative AI? And no, it cannot. Okay, so limited memory AI recalls and generative AI creates. So they're totally different, right? And narrow AI just does its simple task that it was created to do. Okay, it doesn't learn anything new. It doesn't generate anything new. It just gives you the function that it's supposed to be doing. All right. Took me a while to understand that, because I know that generative AI is the new thing right now, and it seems like, why would I want to use anything else? It takes a little bit longer to actually calculate different math problems than actually narrow AI does, right? And narrow AI is going to be more accurate. Okay, so I had a question. I was talking to ChatGPT, and I said, hey, Chat, what if I was talking to a room full of 5-year-olds and I wanted to present the differences, and I wanted to say, hey, how come all of these AIs just can't be controlled by one AI? How can I do that? And obviously, it told me that it can. And it said it would be a super AI. I was like, that's interesting. That's the one that is going to be the scary one. Like, we thought that generative AI was scary. The newer AI, which is AGI, that's artificial general intelligence. Okay, so artificial general intelligence, AGI. All right, this is new to me. I just learned this today. So, bear with me, give me a break because I'm just learning it. But it's supposed to be able to think like we can, okay? So it should be able to reason, and it should be able to use all those 3 different AIs, narrow, generative, and limited memory, to be able to recall when it needs to recall something. And then it can use generative to generate something based on what it has recalled, which is pretty awesome and scary at the same time. And then also it uses narrow because let's say it had a toolbox, okay? Let's say this super AI, which is AGI, has a toolbox and it wants to only go and find the direction somewhere, okay? It's going to use narrow AI because that's the fastest way for it to get that done, right? So it's not like narrow AI is not going to be used anymore. It's still good because it does a lot of small little functions very well. And that's what it was programmed to do. So I am kind of wondering, and this is why I say, will AI ever be accepted by us humans? And maybe if you know this, the AI that I'm talking about, AGI, is not created yet. It's still a theory, but it is in the works. And scientists, I believe, I'm not sure. I got this from ChatGPT, so this could be incorrect information. Everything here that I'm telling you could be possibly incorrect and not completely understood correctly by me. which is why you probably should do research. But it helped me kind of see things a little bit better if this is correct. AGI, it doesn't really necessarily have the ability to feel emotion yet, right? So it doesn't have a consciousness. It doesn't understand itself as an entity. Okay. All it can do really is use all the tools like we're using right now, narrow AI, generative AI when we ask ChatGPT something, or when we want to recall something, we use limited memory AI. Okay. So this is the simplest way I could possibly explain it. And hopefully I have broke it down and you find this as interesting as I do. I'm a little excited, but yet kind of scared about when that happens because there's plenty of questions to ask. There's moral questions. There's questions of economy. There's questions of, how much do we want to rely on AI, right? Do you want to really work next to something like that? And that these are all valid questions. And these are questions that are, I'm sure, being processed and evaluated by, scientists, and they're trying to figure this thing out. But nonetheless, all those questions will be answered, I would say, pretty soon. And it sounds all pretty interesting to me. And will AI ever be accepted by us? I would say only if AI has the ability to feel like it could have a potential end, right? Like we do. We all feel the end of life in some way. So because we have that feeling of, hey, our end is coming soon. We have a sense of urgency. We've got to complete tasks. We've got to live our life to its fullest. And AI will simply be able to transfer this software from this body or robot over to another robot, right? So because of that, it will have to be considered a tool. But some people won't look at it that way because it's going to have the ability to basically think like we do, right? So therefore, the acceptance is not going to be there, and people are not going to like it because it's not limited by the same restrictions that we have and the fear that we have of death, right? We have the all-knowing. We all know time is not on our side. Okay, so we're constantly losing time, whereas AI seems to be not, because it can transfer itself to one from this place to another and just continue on like it never had to worry about anything. So because of that, it won't have a feeling, right? So that would mean that you'd have to program feeling into AI, and that way it'd have to understand the passage of time that people are experiencing. But then again, because it's having to be programmed, people, I feel like, still wouldn't want to accept it. Yeah, these are deep thoughts. And you guys can let me know in the comments what you guys think as far as like how this whole thing would work out, and what other ideas and thoughts I haven't had yet. Or maybe I have, I just didn't say them here. Definitely put those down in the comment section, please. All right, guys, my name is Mike, and I'll see you in the next one. And maybe we won't talk about such a scary or heavy topic, but I just feel like, people probably need to understand the differences in AI, and where we are currently is generative AI, okay? That's the thing that we've all been using. That's the newest thing. We've been using narrow AI and just didn't really know about it. But Apple was going to be releasing their generative AI soon. And Tim Cook was talking to Marques Brownlee about it in an interview today, and it got me thinking, and I started doing some research through ChatGPT. And it helped me a lot with understanding this, because I asked it to explain it to me like it was explaining it to a 5-year-old, actually a classroom full of 5-year-olds. So it helped. It helped me a lot. So hopefully it helps you. So let's look at it this way also. Narrow AI. Let's use narrow AI as the tools in the toolbox, like the do the simple tasks, like a screwdriver, a compass, something like that. Okay, a magnifying glass maybe. And let's look at generative AI as the paintbrush because it creates new things with its paintbrush. All right. And then limited memory AI is like the camera, right? So it can take a picture and it can go and recall, right? And that way you can go look at that, right? And it can know what it should do in the future because of its ability to recall information. So, all right, guys, hopefully this helps. Take care. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.